going on, people? It's Gunsryer from NextGenTactics, and as many of you are aware, the first sort of preview of the map pack, First Strike from Black Ops, for Black Ops, has been released, and you can see it on Call of Duty, the YouTube channel. I'll put a link to it, of course, so that you can watch it if you haven't seen it already. Anyway, they do give a sneak sort of preview of all the maps, except for Ascension, the zombie map. And basically, I just want to talk to you briefly, as brief as I can possibly make it, because I tend to ramble a lot, but talk to you about what I think is going to happen in some of these maps so that there are no surprises. And this is just based on the fact that I play it every single day, throughout the day. So I play it in the morning when we're talking about, predominantly people from the UK playing, all the way through up till like 2 in the morning. So I play it throughout the day. When I say throughout the day, I play it for the entire day. So anyway, the first map that they talk about is Kowloon. Now, one thing I'm going to point out to you guys, and some of you guys may have noticed it, some of you guys don't care, and it doesn't really impact the gameplay. It's more the, the game engine that would do that. But you'll notice with Treyarch when their maps, if you're comparing their maps, say, in comparison to Modern Warfare 2, you'll find that the maps that they create, even if they're in the daytime, I mean, Nuketown may be the exception, but most of their maps and the art and how you see it is kind of grainy. It's like everything is not bright and crisp and clean like you would see it, in the daylight outside. It seems to always have this sort of haziness to it, this graininess to everything. And it takes a getting used to, and sometimes it does bother me a little bit. I want a crisp environment, something where the graphics, it's almost like you can sort of compensate for the lack of clarity, like the lack of high definition. And I think maybe because of the style of the game and everything like that and how much they put into it, maybe they had to do that. Maybe they couldn't really essentially show true high definition because there's so much else going on and it would take up too much space. But that's just an observation. That's from like World at War. If you ever played that one, super grainy, everything's sort of very dirty look, and it seems to kind of keep that trend there. Now, the first map that they talk about is Kowloon, which is a rooftop one, I think in Saigon. Now, this is kind of cool. This kind of reminds me a little bit of High Rise from Modern Warfare 2, except, again, dark, sort of grainy sort of look there, which actually will help people hide a little bit. You know what I mean? When you've got that, when things aren't super crisp and defined and sort of sticking out, you tend to be able to sort of hide in the shadows a little bit easier, which is going to make it hard for some people. I do really like the idea. I really love the idea that they've added a zip line. Dangerous, yes. You're definitely going to have snipers, people with assault rifles, just waiting on that line, waiting for somebody to get on that zip line, and boom, easy kill right there. So I do see that it's almost kind of like a chokehold, but it's like a super obvious chokehold, because when you're running down a straight line in any alleyway or whatever, that's when you're most likely going to get killed, because you have this long stretch where you've got to go, and that is probably the most dangerous long stretch I've ever seen. Yes, it's supposed to be fast from A to B, but the number of seconds that you're there going in a straight line, super exposed to everybody, makes it probably not the best thing to use. It might be good in Search and Destroy if you're on a 1v1 or a clutch situation, but in general, like deathmatch or free-for-all, I see it as a problem, and I would probably avoid it. I mean, it'll be fun to use anyway, of course. I mean, it looks like the hell if I'm not going to be going on it. I mean, it looks like, wee, I'm on the zip line, bam, dead. I'm like, I don't like the zip line anymore. So anyway, I do see that problem. I do like it. I think it's going to be a sort of a high-energy type map. I mean, if it's all rooftop, yeah, I mean, it looks like they've probably added a couple of little penthouse type things at the top where you can get in. But overall, I think it's going to be sort of a high-energy type game where there's going to be a lot of running, gunning, assault rifles, and SMGs are going to probably rule that one. Yeah, I mean, if it's all open too, I mean, the fact is that snipers will probably do well as well. Whatever. You know what I mean. But I don't know if they're going to have like great spots to be taking cover. Who knows? Who knows? It doesn't really matter. All I know is it's going to be high energy on Kowloon for sure. Now, the next map, which is Discovery, I see problems with this one. It looks like a great map. I really like the design. It's something fresh. It's something new. And I like the fact that there's these ice bridges that can be destroyed. That is really cool. Something destructible is absolutely cool. When you have a destructible environment that sort of adds to it, you imagine throw a C4 somehow. If you could get it on the side or get that C4 on there and hide it somehow, like maybe under a body. If a body died on there, throw the C4, in, it usually goes into the body, you know what I mean? And then blow it up as you're watching people go by. It would be kind of amusing. But I see a problem with this map, and that is because you're talking about, you know, the side, each side is separated by that chasm, and you've got these bridges. Those are horrible, horrible choke points if there are no real ways to get around it. And I don't know, because we've only seen sort of bits and pieces, but they were sort of emphasizing the fact that these bridges, you know, are the key. The bridges are the key. When that happens, when you have areas where, you know, these distinct areas to get from one side, that distinct line in a map, they become horrible choke points and hold points where people will camp. On one side or the other, you will have snipers, you will have assault people that are camping those bridges. So that is the problem. It's the only problem that I see with it, is that people, it'll encourage camping big time on that. Especially in Search and Destroy. Search and Destroy is all going to be about camping those bridges. Because I think about, what is it? I can't even remember. Rundown? I think it was Rundown. I think that's the name of the map. In Modern Warfare 2, where there was the 3 bridges that would link it. Yeah, you had the, you know, the canal or whatever, and you could go up the stairs, but predominantly it was controlling those bridges. In Search and Destroy, defense was easy. It was so easy. All you did was have people sort of stationed and watching those bridges, and you pretty much had defense on lockdown. It was very, very easy to control. You know, you had someone watching the far bridge, and that's what I kind of see what happening with Discovery is this you know, stoppage or camping on these bridges and stuff like that. So I think you're gonna have to, I don't know, I'm hoping that there's some sort of alternate route, because if that's the case, you are going to get a lot of camping on Discovery. Now, the other one that we're talking about, and I like this, but I don't see, based on the current, you know, map voting and stuff like that, I don't think a lot of players are going to like it, even though I think the map looks awesome. I love big maps. I really like large maps, maps where you can do all sorts of stuff. You can set up different areas. You can set up, like, especially for Search. I always think like Search and Destroy. And being able to set that up, you know, like strategic areas to defend, or being able to actually get into the offensive and plant the bomb, because there's so many different ways of actually getting in there. That's what I really like. But most of you guys tend to vote for Nuketown or Firing Range, which says you want the smaller maps, you want the high energy maps, you don't care about the big maps. Almost every single time a big map comes up, you vote it off. You know what I mean? Summit is about the only exception where people are starting to see that it's high energy. So I think Summit, Firing Range, and Nuketown are kind of like the maps that majority, I'm not saying everyone, but majority of you guys actually, guys and gals, want to play. So I think Berlin Wall, with the size of it, is not going to be something that most of you guys are going to want to play. I myself love it. Even if I'm an SMG, even if I'm running and gunning, I love the ability to have all these multiple routes available to me. I don't have to take a certain route. Like on Firing Range, you've got the center, you've got the right side, that's the left side and right side. And you know, those become choke points, and it becomes very easy to control again. But when you got a map like Berlin Wall, which is huge, there's no stopping, and you got to be on your toes, and you got to be, you know, a quick thinker. Yeah, the gameplay isn't as, you know, constant. It becomes a little more strategic, and that's what the kind of gameplay I like. And for snipers, it's going to be brilliant for you. Now, I'm not talking about quick scoping snipers. I'm talking about snipers that take, you know, kick-ass positions and really are able to get those normal scope kills. You know what I mean? Because it's so big, there's impossible for you to be able to see everything, and that's the reality of it. A sniper would be in one of those spots where there's no way you're going to be able to see it, and it's going to nail you. The other thing I do like about it, and this is really what should be happening to the Call of Duty series, and I like this aspect, is the automatic turrets. Not controlled by either side, but controlling that neutral zone. These auto turrets that are going to take down either side, they don't care who you are. They're going to shoot you down. And I think that's an amazing aspect. Something that's dynamic, that happens, and you have no control over it. Neither side has control over it. I think that's a brilliant aspect to add into a game. As a matter of fact, I'd like to see it go even beyond that. Maybe even bots. You imagine a game where people are camping, you have no idea where they are, but you know those games where they're super slow and you know, whether they're new or that's just their style, but they're just holding back. and all of a sudden, you know, every so often, an AI bot, you know, soldier or whatever comes in there, and maybe he doesn't count towards kill streaks, maybe he doesn't count towards, you know, like if you kill him or something, it doesn't count towards your kill streak, but he can kill you. And that's the beauty of it. I think that would be an amazing aspect to add something like that, something that's not controlled by either side. You know, a factor that you just gotta, you're like, whoa, like this is computer controlled, and maybe it changes. Maybe it's like a random level of difficulty AI. Maybe one, he comes in, and maybe it's only a certain amount of time that they're actually in. But I think adding stuff like that, these auto turrets that are sort of neutral and not controlled by either side, is a brilliant aspect to it. So I'm really looking forward to playing Berlin Wall. Now the last one, obviously, is Stadium. And Stadium is going to become the new Nuketown. I'm hoping, actually, you know what, Stadium reminds me, when I've seen, looking at the pictures, it reminds me of Broadcast. And I know some of you guys didn't like Broadcast, and that was from Call of Duty 4 days. I loved Broadcast, and Broadcast was another high energy type map. So I don't really know why people sort of whined and moaned about it. I mean, it was controlled, it was, you know, had this huge, vast open areas enclosed, offering like perch points, everything, but it had this outside-inside feel to it, lots of tight corners, lots of places to be going in. I thought it was one of the most brilliant maps created. I absolutely loved it. And although I don't strictly like playing run and gun maps like Nuketown and Firing Range all the time, they're fun because they're fast and they're quick and you can just get through them really easily. But what I'm hoping is that Stadium will be obviously bigger than Nuketown. I don't want it as small as that. And about the size of maybe Firing Range, slightly bigger, but offering a good mix. You know, that center arena. I don't know, there's so much that they could totally do with Stadium, but again, it's high energy. They're talking about high energy, so this is, again, something that the running gunners are definitely going to like, and I'm very interested in playing it as well, because it does remind me of Broadcast, and I like that. I like the idea, and it looks more complex than Nuketown. Nuketown is way too simplified. You've got two houses, people running around like crazy, people camping in the houses, because that's all they ever did. So I think Nuketown is a poorly designed map. I honestly do. I mean, they might as well just made a giant soccer field and said, all right, go. Kill each other. You know what I mean? Like, just make it crazy like that. Because I don't know. I just find it a poorly designed. But I think if Stadium does it right, then you're still going to have that sort of small proximity, but it's going to be high energy. It's going to allow you to duck behind things and dolphin dive and not just be completely exposed all the time and just utter chaos. So I'm really looking forward to that one as well. It's going to be a good mix, a good run and gun, but with good cover system in there as well. Now Ascension, I think I mentioned in the beginning, they didn't show anything on it, even though they were showing maps. Like when he mentions Ascension, all of a sudden you see on the computer, if you watch the video, you'll see a map overlay. But that's actually Stadium, because if you go later and you watch Stadium, you'll see the same map overlay actually come up, you know, like when they're actually designing it. So that's definitely not Ascension. But I'm very curious. I mean, I'm starting to love zombies, and you know Spider Bite myself, well, you know Spider Bite will be all over that like flies on poop. I said poop. It's PG rated, what do you want? So anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I will say, and I'm absolutely pleased with this, Treyarch, good job on making a DLC that truly does offer, you know, something for all the different types of gamers out there. You've got the running gunners, you've got the snipers, and the more strategic people, and you've got something for the campers as well. I'm just kidding. It was Discovery. I guarantee you people are going to be camping on that. And then, but they're all new. The point is that they gave us a DLC with not revised maps, and I'm not knocking Infinity Ward because I did love it, but that's because I loved the maps and I was like, oh goody, I know these maps really well and I have the jump on them. Maybe that's why I love them so much. So a DLC with totally fresh 4 new maps and a zombie map, brilliant. Good work, Treyarch, on that. Absolutely good work. Remember, if you haven't seen the video, link is on the screen already. Unless you're on the website, then I'll put it in the description. But you can watch it on the Call of Duty YouTube channel. Anyway, I'm GunTerrara from NextGenTactics. February 1st, we'll be posting videos. Peace. Get the latest updates and stay in touch with the NGT community with their all-new Facebook application. Check the description of the video for details.